One thing that I thought would be interesting to talk about is the rise of online shopping and how the coronavirus is accelerating that already ongoing trend. Because while, of course, with the rise of the internet, online shopping was already ongoing and becoming more prevalent, the shock of the coronavirus has greatly accelerated pre existing trends. And so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about what's happening with how online shopping is dramatically increasing with the recent pandemic. So I have up this article. It's How the Coronavirus Pandemic is Changing U.S. Grocery Shopping Habits. It's by SmartBrief, and I'm going to read it. Consumer grocery shopping habits in the U.S. have changed as the coronavirus pandemic has progressed. And keeping a finger on the pulse of shoppers can help retailers and manufacturers meet consumers' evolving needs and prepare for what's next. Shopper concern about the pandemic has escalated over the several months, causing consumers to reduce their trips to the store and adjust the items on their grocery list, according to an ongoing consumer survey conducted by Acosta. In a May 7th webinar titled, How COVID-19 is Shopping Behavior, two executives from the sales and marketing company discussed the findings of the survey and what they mean for the future of U.S. grocery shopping. Because of the trouble of the virus, a lot more people are taking deliveries online instead of shopping in person in order to try to avoid human contact because of the obvious pandemic situation. Shoppers adjust what and how they buy. The items most in demand among shoppers have changed over the course of the pandemic, said Colin Stewart, Acosta's Executive Vice President of Business Intelligence. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have to say about how what people are buying is changing rather than just the obvious fact that how they buy is changing because online shopping is being accelerated by the pandemic, which is probably something that is already shouldn't be too surprising to anyone. Early in the crisis, it was more cleaning products and toilet papers, bottled water and hand sanitizers. Yeah, that should be more surprised, and we all remember the huge shortages they had, like recently when the viruses first emerged. Then there was a shift to more pantry-loaded items like soup, pasta, rice. Yeah, these are the items you should have already been stocking up on for a while, even before the pandemic, just in case to have a little extra supplies. And most recently was Sheena's shift to more comfort foods and meal preparation foods. So now that there isn't any obvious food shortages happening and we're returning to more of a normal situation, people are returning to their previous pre-established shopping habits and are no longer doing unusual shopping in more of a crisis preparation atmosphere. Noting that frozen foods have done extremely well over the last couple of weeks, as have meat and dairy products. One other thing that's happening is that people are doing more regular grocery shopping because they're going out to eat less. So because they're staying in, they're just doing more cooking instead of going out. One thing that strikes me as unusual about this situation is that since people can still order in and have takeout and do delivery, that just the fact that they can't go out to eat is meaning they want to cook more and make more home cooking food, when since the options of takeout and delivery are available, they don't necessarily have to do it. They could just substitute dining out to ordering in, and they'd still have to not do cooking. But when people are staying home, what's interesting is that they actually seem to want to do more cooking. In addition to tracking shifts in what shoppers buy, Acosta has also noticed drastic changes in how consumers obtain their groceries. Shoppers have now implemented new behaviors, many of which we expect will have some lasting impact on shopping as we move ahead. For example, right now, shoppers are making fewer trips across all channels. While the grocery channel has actually gained market share over the past 8 weeks, and amassed merchandisers and drugstores have lost market shares. So people are making less trips to the drugstores and are just getting whatever items they need at the grocery store. That's interesting, though it makes sense, because if you're going to do less trips in general, you're probably going to go to the grocery store with your limited trips rather than a drugstore, because the grocery store just has more stuff. And so, if you're going to make a trip to one place, you're going to make the trip that can better meet all of your needs in one trip, which is the grocery store because it has more stuff. Consumers are making 2% fewer grocery shopping trips, in line with recommendations from the CDC. Acosta found in a third round of its consumer survey conducted during the first week of April. However, surveys show that online grocery is thriving, with 38% of shoppers placing an order in the past 4 months. So online shopping is up 40%, and consumers are making 50% fewer grocery trips. And they're probably buying more stuff in the fewer grocery trips they are making. The growing number of consumers placing grocery orders for pickup or delivery includes a large group of shoppers that are trying these options for the first time, Stewart says. Because while these activities were on the rise before the virus, with the internet existing for like the past 20 years and people adapting its use more and more, the recent pandemic has given a huge impetus and shift to that direction of online shopping. Historically, if you looked at e-commerce, it skewed a bit younger, but with COVID, the boomer generation is one of the fastest growing segments of the shoppers that's shopping online. Yes, because older people are always less recent to take up new technologies and are behind what younger people are doing. But the COVID crisis has given them a huge incentive to accelerate their adaptation and catch up to what younger people are doing. Considering the fact that the sudden increase in demand for online grocery ordering has accelerated the e-commerce trend by 2 to 3 years for most retailers, the retailer response to this crisis has been impressive, said John Burfeet, Acosta's executive vice president of client development. Thousands of new employees have been hired across the country over the last few weeks, many just to handle curbside pickup programs. Another bright spot has emerged from the unprecedented times, the collaboration between retailers and manufacturers. In general, I would say manufacturers and retailers have worked really well together over the last 7 weeks. For the most part, everyone has really come together, put aside differences, and valued the important role food plays during a pandemic. Food plays an important role every time, because if people didn't have food, they would starve. So food is one of the most important things always. Planning for the new normal. This collaboration between manufacturers and retailers will continue to be a key as the grocery industry adjusts to the new normal. In the near term, shoppers will be making fewer trips and stocking up, which has implications on both assortment and pack sizes at retailer. So there might be a shift in trend into people and stores stocking larger package sizes. Another interesting thing I want to just talk about here is that people have been substituting lower value goods for higher value goods because that's simply been what's available. So we've been seeing some hidden inflation with higher price goods, higher end goods, being substituted for lower end goods that just aren't as available anymore. So that's another interesting consumer trend that I was just thinking about as I was reading this article. More than half, 56% of consumers surveyed by Acosta, said they are likely to continue eating at home more than they used to, even after the pandemic is over, which creates an opportunity for brands and retailers to meet the increased demand for meal solutions. So people are just cooking more stuff at home, even though they could still just order in the stuff they used to go out to eat. So just the fact that they're spending more time at home, and they have more free time because maybe they don't have as many hours, they're working at home or they've been outright laid off, alone is meaning that they're just people want to cook more and use that free time they have for those purposes. So that's an interesting thing I would not have expected, because of course I would have expected there would be an increase in shopping from home in a pandemic where people don't want to go out and expose themselves to the virus. But the increase in cooking is something that I wouldn't have automatically expected from this situation. With employment levels declining as the pandemic continues, it's likely that value-focused options will be increasingly important to shoppers, said Stewart, who noted that during a recession, shoppers tend to trend down when it comes to brands. Meeting the evolving needs for shoppers will definitely be the next challenge, said Burfeet, advising that retailers who own and leverage their own data will have a significant head start. Yeah, so knowing what the data is for consumer trends is always important for keeping ahead of the curve and updating your stock to meet consumer needs the best, and therefore taking up market share and getting an advantage in that regard. So that seems to be it for the article. If you like this video, please share this video with anyone you think might be interested, leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell.